Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you so kindly for joining us. Welcome to Green Apple Books on the Park. My name is Cara Johnson. Yay, thank you. My name is Cara Johnson. I'm the event coordinator for Green Apple, and tonight I am very, very happy to welcome you to our celebration of the anthology Ask the Night for a Dream, Palestinian Writing from the Diaspora. Let's give a hand for this beautiful anthology. We are joined tonight by 3 of the anthology's contributors, and I want you to keep it going for each one of them as I say their names. Deema Shehabi, Janine Mogannam, Priscilla Wathington. Thank you. Okay, so thank you for joining us here in person and also online. Hello, online audience. I'm waving to a camera if you can't see me. Thank you for joining us. We are broadcasting from San Francisco. We open each of our events with a land acknowledgement, and as such, I would like to let you know that we are operating on unceded Ramaytush Ohlone land. We think that acknowledgement requires action, and so we encourage you to donate either your time or monetary means to an Indigenous organization each time you hear a land acknowledgement. We have details about the Ramaytush Ohlone Land Trust at the back desk if you're interested how to participate in this project of rematriation, which we open each of our events with, but we think is particularly pertinent tonight as we're talking about like indigeneity and Palestine, especially in that connection there. So thank you. Very brief business, and then I will let our authors, our poets take over. Now is a good time to silence your cell phones if you have not already. Please do not take a call in the middle of the event. That would not be fun. How do we feel about photo taking? I didn't ask. Photos? What do we think? Okay, fine is the answer. So think about that. No bad photos. I'll tell you that's not allowed.
No bad
photos. Yeah. So that's not allowed. Please do check out our full event calendar online at greenapplebooks.com. We have a really great season ahead of us, including the event you are currently attending. Please do, if you are able, buy books. Buy tonight's anthology. If you are able, we always appreciate it. And there's a special incentive tonight because for each copy sold, we're donating 10% to our beneficiary for the evening, which is the Middle East Children's Alliance. Let's give it up for Mecca. So while a representative of Mecca wasn't able to join us tonight, they did send their regrets and they sent their gratitude, and they do have a statement that they sent us to read on their behalf. So I'm going to let you know what they said. And I'll say now that it's very complimentary toward Green Apple, and I did not write this. And I want you to know that. We want to start out by saying thank you to Green Apple Books. And when I say that, I'll also say an extension is you all, is to you folks, for organizing this great event, celebrating and amplifying Palestinian voices, and supporting our work at Mecca. We're very appreciative of all of your support and solidarity with our people in Palestine. We also are saddened that we last minute were unable to join you all this evening, and we are looking forward to future events with Green Apple and being able to attend in person. Right now is a very difficult moment in Gaza. We are witnessing over 22 months of ongoing genocide. We have staff members and partners that are a part of our Mecca family based in Gaza who work tirelessly despite their own grief, displacement, and hunger to help their communities. We do everything we can to not only support them, but to all of the Palestinians in Gaza in their rights and steadfastness. We cannot get comfortable or desensitized to the ongoing massacres, bombardments, and forced starvation we are watching in Gaza. We must take action now and do everything we can to end the genocide and to free Palestine. Thank you all again for being here, and to Green Apple and to all of you for being here, and enjoy the night. So thank you, Mecca, for that statement. That's our beneficiary for the evening. If you donated with your RSVP, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. So I can tell you now, I feel comfortable saying now that we've already raised with your RSVPs $300 for Mecca for this evening alone. So thank you so much for that. That goes directly to them. If you're interested in the kind of work that they do, I have some one sheets hanging up around that you can take a look at by the numbers. And I also have a couple of QR codes if you want to donate to them directly instead of like going through our RSVP page. So you are welcome to do that as well. I really appreciate you all being here, and I think like nothing feels better than like being in community and working together to think about, I hate to say like even think about Gaza, but to like put action and put like our momentum toward like Gaza and Palestine. So I really appreciate you all being here. Without further ado, I would like to let you know, I'll give you a brief overview of what to expect for the evening. So we have 3 readers talking about Ask the Night for a Dream, or reading from their work, or I actually don't know what you're gonna read, so I'll let you decide. But 3 readers from Ask the Night for a Dream are going to read their work. We're going to have a brief Q&A after that, and then we'll have a signing line after that. Sound okay? All right, great. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the first reader who is joining us. Deema Shehabi yay, Deema! is a Palestinian American poet, writer, and editor. Deema is the author of 13 Departures from the Moon and co-editor with Bo Bosele of Al-Motanabi Street Starts Here, for which she received a Northern California Book Award. She is also the co-author of Diaspora with Marilyn Hacker, and winner of the Nazim Hikmet Poetry Competition in 2018. Let's give one more hand for Deema Shehabi.
Thanks, Car, for always creating an environment of warmth and welcome in this bookstore, and thanks also for your perpetual solidarity. I'm very happy to be here with Janine and Priscilla to read from Ask the Night for a Dream. I want to start with a poem by Hiba Abu Nada, who was a novelist, poet, and educator from Gaza. She wrote this poem 10 days before her death on October 20th. This poem is translated by the inimitable Huda Fakhreddin. It's called Not Just Passing. Not just passing. Yesterday, a star said to the little light in my heart, we're not just transients passing. Do not die. Beneath this glow, some wanderers go on walking. You were first created out of love, so carry nothing but love to those who are trembling. One day, all gardens sprouted from our names, from what remained of hearts yearning. And since it came of age, this ancient language has taught us how to heal with our longing, how to be a heavenly scent to relax their tightening lungs, a welcome sigh, a gasp of oxygen. Softly, we pass over wounds like purposeful gauze, a hint of relief, an aspirin. Oh, little light in me, don't die, even if all the galaxies of the world close in. Oh, little light in me, say, enter my heart in peace. All of you, come in. That was Hiba Abu Nada. Honestly, since the genocide began, I have only been able to survive in spirit by reconstructing memories of my childhood, imagining them to be small linked gardens or little Edens that extend into my adulthood, where I could take my fill of love despite the daily brokenness. This next poem is a sonic crown, which juxtaposes memories of my father with nature and death. It's called Larkspurs in the Meadow. When August ends and wispy wasps brew skin, she traverses a narrow stream, smudged rock, and thinks of her father's body swaying over the hill's edge. A sudden thunderstorm, he limps across the terrace, the fountain turned off, petrichor scent levitating off the grass. In the distance, the city lights up as birds go quiet. Whose loved one is skyful? Whose big war hugs the dirt? Rage stalks the living who slice the loosened air with a jagged prayer. Meanwhile, She hears her father's supplications, gongs belling as he dances over bloodroots, daisies. All alighting is an ode to the past. All alighting is an ode to the past in a suburban garden where a patch of poppies mimics Palestinian hills. Mid-morning, violence disrobes ground when the coyote kills a roe deer and leaves the corpse in the grass. Before her sons come, she drags the body to the fence, tracing the torn throat, the barely lush lashes and barley white ribs. Blessed is this blurred land, she says on the phone with creature control. Blessed is the deer whose skin hangs like ripped rags in her hands. Blessed is the neighbor's poison larkspurs, the wasps and her father's and her afternoon sleep, in which her father appears in a dream. In which her father appears in a dream and remembers his daughter's refusal to make amends with the pine's ritual of impaling the moon at 11. There's no shame in return, he said 30 years ago, as she sat on a college bench mistakenly placing her finger over a wasp, hooting from the street frat louder than birdsongs. Long farewells in which she searches for a way out teach her not to suffocate in the night journey where her father leaves the city by train. En route, he sees other warm souls in flight and says to her, be humble, be pious. He says to her, be humble, be pious, say you know nothing. God is capacious, God is grand. She conveys his instructions to the periwinkles who lift their blind heads out of the rocks, then fake a collapse. She looks for him on the Diablo foothills in a valley lit up by the wolf moon, through the oak trees which nest 40,000 wasps, in the streaks of dark blueberry jam staining kitchen tiles, through the small doorway leading up to dormant wisteria, and finds him sleeping in early evening, his chest musk-soaked while a serpentine sun pours through the bedroom window in and out. Pouring through the bedroom window in and out is the mu'adhin's voice, wrung like white ash. 15 minutes later, he opens her door with the fatha beneath his breath. Rise, rise, lonely girl. Though she is flattened by a recurring nightmare where she sees figures on horses scalp all the children. She counts the time she's a witness in dreams, when she's escaped the ill fate of others. She'd stare at him in the slit of first light, his words, litanies against the rough-hewn night, her mother and brother sleeping next door as wasps sharpen their spurs in the sky. The day, like brand new clay, like soaked rivers. The day, like brand new clay, like soaked rivers, like Chinese elms precipitating fall, not like the cold industrial chamber where his body waits until frankincense burns and hands dip beige sponges in myrrh oil, wasps pounding at the door. She rinses him, unties the tiny blue dandelions from his throat, remembering his lilting voice more timbrous than red-bellied bulbuls who lift twilight over the mountain. But she cannot bear this pine tree cemetery or the children with death-punctual eyes. Their business is to wash graves and offer words, peppered moths that break windows at night. Words, peppered moths that break windows at night, do not console what remains of her life on these lion-tanned hills, peeking into pyroclastic cavities of redwoods, catching particulates on her fingers, midnight trolling and watching her kin fly with their bodies into the sky. Her roots moist, her sorrow receding like evening primrose and California with strawberry. Yet she renews her last promise to her father, her face tight-cupped in his eyes, half-smiling man, reciting birds' names, yellow-billed magpie, black phoebe, nesting, when August ends and wispy wasps brew skin. Thank you, thank you.
Keep it going for Deema Shehabi, please. Thank you. Our next reader, Janine Mogannam, is a Palestinian American poet, librarian, and literary curator from San Francisco on Remetishalone land. Janine is a member of the Radius of Arab American Writers and Still Here San Francisco. Janine's writing can be found in The Margins, Apogee, Split This Rock to the Quarry, and the anthology Heaven Looks Like Us, Palestinian Poetry, and elsewhere. Please give another hand for Janine Mogannam. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Thank you, Car and Green Apple. I've been a huge fan of this bookstore for a very long time, and this is just one of many reasons why. And just thank you so much for your support and your enthusiastic willingness to host us here. Really appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you to my beautiful co-readers. Just a fantastic group. I'm so grateful, and to you all for coming tonight. The first poem I'd like to read is by Janine Azazi, and it's called Earth, Be Not Proud. We all decided to each read a poem by a Gazan poet. So yes, this is Earth, Be Not Proud. Earth, be not proud. The huge mountains stand on your ground, mighty power. The wide sky spreads out grace, competing with the vastness of your lands. But Earth, be not proud. The ending moment always arrives. As the sky falls, the moon will divide and the stars will scatter the clouds. Mountaintops escaping the skyline render the earth with all its violence and destruction. For that, Earth, be not proud. Give this back to you. So I'd like to start by reading the two poems I have in the anthology. The first one is called After a Long Distance Phone Call, in which my grandmother did not recognize my voice. I remember sharing your bed during those warm summers when I'd visit you in Ramallah. I'd listen for the low hum of your breath, mingling with the cricket orchestra in the garden and the percussion of rehearsal explosions just over the hill. Your breath was my comfort, a reminder that life goes on even in a place where it so often doesn't. You don't sleep much these days, Auntie says. Your breath comes jagged. You spend nights stumbling through rooms, pounding on doors and shouting like the young soldiers so often used to do. You no longer recognize your house, your city, saying over and over, I want to go home. I wish I could take you there, back to the time before life cheated you, before myriad ailments plagued you like wily gin until your body and mind gave in. I wish I could lay life before you like a mound of dough, ready for you to knead into submission and bake into one of your perfect loaves. I wonder if I will ever lie next to you again. Listen to your breath compete with the muezzin's call. Feel your body rise and fall next to me and hear you wish me, Sabah al-khair, habibti, ya albi, before shuffling into the kitchen to make breakfast and feed the feral cats at the kitchen door. Now it's the past that occupies your bed, your mind, keeping you up all hours, stealing from you what you never imagined it could. Thank you. And this one is called Golden Shovel in Reverse, after Leila Shati's The White Poet Wants to Know Why I Don't Write More Arab Poems. And the Golden Shovel form is a form where a line is borrowed from another poet's poem, and typically each word of that line is used as the end word of a new line of poetry that you create, but I did it in reverse, so
The first word of each of my lines is borrowed from a line from Leila Chati's poem. The white poet wants to know why I don't write more Arab poems. Because I am a fraud. Isn't every diasporic Arab harassed by this notion time and time again? When have I ever felt completely Arab? And yet, what else? Has my ethnicity ever not been an open invitation to invasive questions? Some of which my own. If one is to believe an Arab is someone who speaks Arabic, my mouth betrays genetics, which, by the way, I've never had analyzed because every elder in my family has our lineage memorized. Am I the idea of a thing more than the thing itself? If an Arab in America is read as Mexican, Greek, mixed race, or other, does the Arab really exist? Or perhaps this poem is simply an opening. Aladdin's Cave of Wonders? No. In which I seek my fortune hurriedly before its great mouth slams shut and imprisons me forever among the treasures of the Orient. Quote marks in there, but this is an older poem, but I felt that it's unfortunately still very relevant now. It's called Meditations in an Emergency Zone, after Frank O'Hara's Meditations in an Emergency. Our bodies are made of war. Sometimes the kinetics are so intense we can do nothing but wait. Oh, Mother Mary, it is here in your arms we are loved. Do not allow the entrails, hemlines to drag on the ground. Please keep all décolletage covered for decency. Now we remember the tombs. Grandmother procured the key. East Jerusalem, we are free. We sat in the gutters here, little baby bones, skull candy, not only 2,000 years ago. Today, now. Tonight the stars are outshone by bombs, fireworks. We drink arak until everything is glitter, dance like tribespeople under the moon. Behold, Jesus. The burning is just a few miles away, but Ramallah is a city of stones. It is Oz. I cannot breathe. I spit on the ground and the world turns. This poem was actually published in the recent beautiful anthology, Heaven Looks Like Us, which is probably at this bookstore and was co-edited by George Abraham. I'm going to shout you out here. It's a beautiful anthology of Palestinian poetry. Please check it out. I'm so honored to be included in it. But this poem is called Dead Sea Existential. I lick my lips upon arrival, thieve salt as souvenir, gorge on sea air to slow the churn of my stomach, aching to be seen as Bint al-Balad. The tour bus that delivered us to the shore gives me away. My sweat-slick face burns in shame. My cousins won't let me see, beg me to strip down to my bathing suit and float weightless like them. I arabesque excuses, my period, my hair, watch as the water upholds my family. Her sea mouth sings, waiting, and I drown in self-denial, anger lashing at my skin, rubbing salt into generations' old wounds. I fear the plunge would prove that I am nothing more than a tourist, a watered-down version of someone I'm supposed to be. I refuse to become postcard, a snapshot of grinning complicity. I yearn to belong here, mirror woman, returning to the brine of birth, bathing as my ancestors did, nourished by the miracle of mud and mineral. No tour bus, no American accent. But where else but here? Like the sea, I am endangered species, the Palestinian in Palestine. Never mind that I've been made absentee by the fortune of history. I present myself, seeking entry without interrogation. I am a daughter of this land, no matter where the white hand of displacement has forced me. I remove my sandals, my long skirt, the embroidered blouse that smells of my grandmother's cooking. My cousin's laughter beckons me, their shared joy becoming mine, echoing into the depths of the sea, all of it our birthright, and I swim. One more poem. That's okay, timers? Okay, great, thank you. This one is entitled, When I Am Asked, How Are You During the Genocide of My People? I'm pretty awful, all things considered. A few weeks ago, I couldn't eat anything, and now I'm constantly starving. I know that's a terrible thing to say. I think my houseplants might be dying, but I'm not really sure. They're sad and limp-necked. I guess that's a metaphor. I'm not much fun in social situations anymore, incapable of giving the sparkling conversation that you've come to expect from a people-pleasing Sagittarius. I'm in recovery. I keep talking about war, and I guess it makes people uncomfortable. Turns out Americans don't really want to know the details of the genocide they're paying for. But hey, here I am, alive. Did you know that yesterday 1,000 more Palestinians died? On Thanksgiving, I watched a video of a father filming himself and his young daughter in her last moments of life. Her eyes heavy-lidded, her skin already pale as he spoke to her gently, as any father would when coaxing a smile out of his child for a camera. Witness. My head ached all day with the thought of his pain. The generosity of filming such a private and world-shattering moment in the hope that the end of his world could somehow inspire others to build a better one. But Hamas, you say, but hummus, but birthright, but bombs, but a humanitarian pause to take a break from bearing witness to genocide, to eat turkey and celebrate another one. But a parade to celebrate said genocide and its god, capitalism. But disrupting the parade every 2 minutes to sit in front of Ronald McDonald and scream, "Free Palestine." But our indigenous siblings rejecting performative inclusion in said parade to smile and fly the colors of a watermelon. But our indigenous siblings on Alcatraz giving space in their own day of mourning to dance and chant, "Free Palestine." But gratitude, but guts. But my 3-year-old nephew laughing into a full-body mirror, saying, "Hello, I love you," to himself, blowing into the glass so the Palestinian boy on the other side may breathe too. But his crooked smile, his small body wiggling in living joy in front of my camera. And isn't that another free Palestine? Okay. Thank you.
Going for Janine, please. Janine and I got to organize this together in great part, and so I'm really grateful that you trusted us with this, and thank you so much for sharing. Folks standing in the back, if you're welcome to stand there, but if you want to sit on this staircase, you are also welcome to as well. There's spots here, and there's also this open purple one. So do with it. There's also 2 seats in the front, which are primo. So do with that what you will. I just want you to be comfortable. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to keep checking in and telling you that I'm really grateful to have you all here. And I'm very happy to introduce our next reader as well, Priscilla Wathington. A Palestinian American poet and editor, and the author of the chapbook Paper and Stick. She was the Sam Masso Writer in Residence at San Francisco State University's Poetry Center in 2024, and a Tin House Writer Workshop Scholar in 2025. Accolades! Wathington sits on the board of the Radius of Arab American Writers and holds an MFA from Warren Wilson College. Let's give one more hand for Priscilla.
can't tell you how good it is to be among people who love Palestine. It's just such... to clap for that, you know? Like, it's wild. But I just feel like I can breathe in here, and I just really appreciate you, Car. I appreciate Green Apple. I appreciate all my beloveds here. Thank you, Janine, for all your work to organize this, and to Deema for your endless inspiration. And to Susan and Sahad, not here, for all your work. Not easy in this world, making a book like this or running the Palestinian Writes Festival. So we have to take heart, because there is so much good work. So I'm going to read another poem from the Gaza Poet Society, Living Palestinian Poets in Gaza. You can find their work online. So this is by Muhammad Musa, who founded the Gaza Poet Society. It's called Salty Prayer in Summer. The sea fills my eyes with the tears of children in northern Gaza. I no longer know the language of the slaughtered seagulls or the embrace of the broken waves. I was born yesterday in a large cage. My mother could only find my name to cook. How can I grow up amidst all this destruction when I am the son of yesterday? Horses run alone at funerals. I pray with the slaughtered seagulls in summer. I walk alone without my mother, and I am my mother's son. It's hard. I'm gonna read a few of my poems. I'm gonna read the one that's in this anthology, and then I'm gonna end with a poem by Mahmoud Darwish, which has the name from this anthology in it. So I'm gonna start with another poem from Heaven Looks Like Us. Yeah, I mean, it's like a sister anthology came out. I mean, that's a blessing, you know? And there's two Arabic words in it, yaoud, which means return, and ha'it, which means wall. It's called Hungriest Organ. The water of me goes out, yaoud. The body flux of basin, of hailstone, until our eyes grow new scopes, the state gathers food. Slip of thread between cells, empire, the hungriest organ. Martial walls, the pant seams can be let out. Leave them in the basket under the armchair. The separation of us is in the syntax. Each dialect, its own creek. Semantics widen, narrow with channel. Phonemes, dropped sediments, monument, the journey. Find the path of least resistance over the cliffs. If this folk physics, so our optimism. What goes up? How much of your water in the sky over Palestine this day? Ha'it, an unstable symbol evaporating off the top. The infant mortality indicator is a harbinger. Some winters, what goes out does not return. It's kind of devastating that, I wrote that poem 5 years ago, and it's all it just becomes more true. This poem is called The Clockmen. It's a poem against normalization, right? Fuck normalization. It is against finding any of this happening normal. Some of you might have heard an earlier drafty version of this poem, so I apologize for that. And it's a part of also a Palestinian dossier on social text. So again, like lots of good spaces, but we have to make us be the normal. All right, it's called The Clockman. All day the talk is lint. Committees meet and look at their calendars. The carpet hardly moves. The lobby doesn't even smell of corpses. It's Monday here. There's a salad bar here. In Rafah, a wall is blown off by somebody's son. He's gotten his life back on track now. His father doesn't cry outside his door anymore. A tiny nozzle mists the lettuce. The clock on each laptop jogs on its treadmill. At 12:31, the meeting resumes. No one looks at the sky anymore. Looking has gotten risky. Once I looked at a birthday cake and saw a president's face. It was burning there, next to a piece of my cousin's bedroom. There were no balloons, but when I looked up, I saw a cloud inflating, round and swollen, dark around the edges, bleeding through with light, pulling more and more filament into her breasts, bright, powdery hearts and fleshy grays folding into her, and still more dense, fast-moving bars and flat brown sheets that smothered the sun, curling into her mass until she was heaving, large now, straddling the earth, bearing down. That day, we sang an old song and ate cake with our hands until we had to leave the world we knew behind. But there were some who stayed, gripping their keyboards, even as gales lifted the roof off their box, typing, "Fill out this meeting poll today. You must choose between 205 and 208. All right, y'all, this poem is the one in the anthology. It's called Dear Language of Opportunity. I wrote this poem after the Flower Massacre in February 29, 2024, because even then we knew, like we understood what was going to happen with food. It was already happening. So that day, 118 Palestinians were killed, 760 people were injured. Their bodies were found covered in flour. There is some borrowed language in this poem. It's just a simple word. It's the word one, that repeats. But it's important to say that I got this word from Padraig Otuama, from these lines. So I count one life, one life, one life, one life, because each time is the first time that life has been taken. Dear language of opportunity, you with your tongue against the backs of teeth, you of of s. Let me ask you this. Which one of us the drum's old skin and which the stick? You know why I'm asking. You've been bargaining again. Death was spreading its fungus on a fig, eating tomorrow's honey. Don't say you did what you could. Don't give me lessons on the wasp that burrows into the center, losing her wings. A truck with body bags came in. People took what they needed. What did they need? They needed a cup of flour. They needed an iron pill. But instead, you were where? Whose? The people counted 1, 1, 1. O language, what hush you made below. I know it's confusing to clap, but I understand it as affirmation of agreement. I'm going to end us with Mahmoud Darwish. We have the right to love autumn. Taking up space and demanding the right to feel everything, to love everything, to have all of the normal human experiences is just a really important location, I think, for a lot of us right now. So this is the poem that the title came from, Ask the Night for a Dream, translated by Munir Akash and Carolyn Forshey. We have the right to love autumn, and we too have the right to love the last days of autumn and ask the grove, is there room now for a new autumn so that we may lie down like coals? Like gold, autumn brings its leaves to half-staff. If only we never said goodbye to the fundamentals and questioned our fathers when they fled at knife point. May poetry and God's name have mercy on us. We have the right to warm the nights of beautiful women and talk about what might shorted the night of two strangers waiting for north on the compass. It's autumn. We have the right to smell autumn's fragrances and ask the night for a dream. Does the dream, like the dreamers themselves, sicken? Autumn, autumn. Can a people be born on a guillotine? We have the right to die any way we wish. May the earth hide itself away in a blade of wheat. Thank you for supporting this space. Read my books, because we need these spaces to exist. I know that's your job to say that, but it's real, And thank you again to Green Apple. I imagine you have some closing words. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. We give one more hand for Priscilla. I'll say briefly because I'm thinking it now and I'm not going to be the most articulate, but I will say that even if it feels necessary, I know it is still difficult to show up in grief and do that, and so I'm really appreciative of all of you for sharing your work with us this evening, and all of you as well for supporting their work. So we're going to do a brief Q&A with our poets, so I'm going to have them get comfortable here and occupy yourselves while we do a little bit of shuffling. You're grown-ups, you can do it. Give me just one moment.
Elevator music. I know. She's yes, exactly.
Okay, and anyone has any questions for our poets, we have a brief period of time. You can just raise your hand and ask them questions. What happened?
Work for it.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, I think we got it. Thank you. If you folks have any questions for our poets, we're going to do a brief Q&A. So go ahead and raise your hands. Also, if you don't, that's fine. We can just party. But like, if you do, now is the time.
Yes, you over there.
You want me to just project like this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, all three of you, so much for sharing all of your poetry with us. And I think one thing that a lot of us might have questions about for any kind of artist, such as poets, you're all adults now, so what would your adult poet self say to your baby poet self starting out, knowing what you know now, writing for so many years? What would you tell that baby poet self today, August 27th, 2025?
I think I would tell the baby poet to be patient, to read more, and really, like, truly not to rush through like drafts and just take your time, and read widely, read world literature, not just one kind of literature, deepen your illusions, read also outside of poetry, like philosophy, comparative religion even, I think is interesting, and of course lots of world literature. How about you?
Yeah, that spoke to me, to read more. I think I would tell myself to like put down some of those books I was reading, of poets that like we didn't know, you know? I would be like, stop reading that, just, yeah, I think just, yeah, patience. I think like a lot of the stuff we all care about is stuff we just showed up for a really long time. So I think I would tell myself, like, it's not about, you know, the mystery and the aura and all of that. It's really about just like, what are you willing to keep being present for? And if you just keep doing that, you will find the way that you're supposed to go.
Lovely. I agree with all of that. Reading more, and I would also tell myself, baby poet self, don't be afraid, but allow yourself to be afraid and like do it anyway, write it anyway, say what you need to say anyway, because the world and moving poetry and the world itself is not built on holding back. It's built on generosity and expansion and giving, and that's how we're going to survive, and that's how you yourself will survive. So yeah, just do it. Don't be afraid, just let it go. Or be afraid, but do it anyway. Yeah.
Thanks for the question.
Such a nice question.
Wonderful question.
So, when you write poetry, are you trying to get like a lot of your feelings out so that it doesn't like suffocate, or are you trying to write to pull the world in because everyone seems to be turning a blind eye and normalizing it?
Good question. I think we're trying to, it's both. I think it's both. But more so, I think the initial desire is to pull the world in and also kind of process it out. I think poetry is, I hate saying this, but I really think it's true. In many ways, it is a lifesaver. It's close to prayer, it's close to the sacred, it's also close to, you can sabotage language with it, you can blur the news, you can fight against language that seeks to dehumanize. So it's so expansive in what it can do, but it really is both. Thanks for the question. Very good.
Yeah, I think it depends what's happening, you know? Like, Yeah. I mean, like if I, like my chapbook was like in a documentary mode. So it was very much about like people need to be pointed outside of the poem to go and look, to go and read. Then there are other poems where you are just trying to make, it's sort of neither, it's like you're just trying to make the world seem okay again and make it make sense and make the inward reality, not necessarily the feelings, but like the truth of what it is to be a Palestinian exist somewhere, you know, even if only in our shared imagination of what could be. Yeah, I feel like that was a very profound question, and we all need to like write an essay as we try to answer this very good question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you for that question. I agree both. And also, lately I feel that I'm not always trying to pull everyone into my my poetry. And I've definitely been learning by example of many of my poet friends here, George, Zaina, Deema, Priscilla, a lot of other folks that I'm in community with, of like a sense of resisting legibility to an outside world that maybe is resisting the notion of us, of me. And so maybe I'm not trying to pull everyone in anymore. And that's true not just for writing, but like for my relationships and like in general. Like if by now, 2 years later, you're still not on board, bye. So yeah. But yeah, thank you for that question.
In Isabel Ahmad's book, Recognizing This Journey, she talks about the nature of epiphany and how it's a moment when predisposed idea that you had proves to be different, something that you didn't think was true. And I'm just curious, in your own experience of writing poetry or any kind of writing, really, where do you find those moments of epiphany? When do you find them? What does that mean to you? What does it mean when you've written that word, that line, that sentence, and it's brought something forth that you didn't realize you knew before?
I mean, I think every draft you do, every draft you write is a voyage of discovery. You don't really know what's going to come in the next line. And then, of course, you go back and revise it, but you're like, oh, I arrived to this. It's not just, I wouldn't call it epiphany necessarily each time. I would call it something like more like discovery. Whether a discovery is an epiphany is up for debate. But yeah, I mean, I think I think you do find gems that you thought, man, was this in me all along? I didn't know that. So there's beauty in that. There's also this sense of like surprise, spontaneity. So the epiphany is spontaneous too. Yeah. But it's a very beautiful like thought to think about. Like, but it is a discovery, the drafts that you put down, and then you go back and revise them, and go back and jam the lines, maybe see what that causes a new discovery. Epiphany. Yeah.
I'm still thinking.
All the questions have been really good.
I'm not sure quite so much about moments of epiphany also, although I really appreciated what she had to say in that book, in that essay, but I think like also, I think of it maybe sometimes as like an unwrapping or unraveling of like opening up like what are these words in my head and how does it match like what's in here and how can I like, you know, layer them together or open them up and like, you know, spread it out on the page or however I want to present it to the world. And so yeah, I like can't really think of like a true moment of like epiphany, but just like it's for me at least more of like a slow burn of like what am I like excavating here, you know, when I'm opening up. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what came to my mind. Yeah.
I feel like George wants to answer.
No,
we can have like a discussion.
Yeah, it's okay. I don't know if I experience writing that way. I think I sometimes experience reading other people's work that way.
sure.
But I feel like when I'm writing, it feels more like a kind of wrestling with the self, with the word, with language, with the betrayal of symbols, with like all kinds of things. So there's discovery, but it's not always a positive discovery, I suppose. Sometimes you discover what you're afraid to say is there behind the poem, ruining it because you're like not saying it. So sometimes you discover what you were afraid of. Sometimes I throw that poem away. So I think it depends a lot on like what your headspace is like. And if you're moving in a very linear sort of progression towards something like clarity, or if things are feeling less and less clear and less certain, the more you struggle, because that happens too, which is a kind of discovery. But as you said, I don't know if epiphany is always the thing that happens. I wish it did for me.
That would be so enriching.
That would be wonderful. But it is really amazing when those moments happen. I think for me they feel more rare, but they do feel very precious. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for those questions.
There's two. George.
Yeah. Prioritize these two. Yeah. We'll talk.
So I really thank you so much for reading. It's like I was like every poem was so good. It's like then I what was the other poem because it was like everyone was so good. And so it made me kind of think about how did you all feel when you read this anthology? How do you think about your work differently or each other's work differently when you see them all together? And this also, I think, is a question I would actually welcome you to chime in as an editor of one, to like when you see these things come together, or how you see, like, do you see patterns? Do you see, yeah.
We love our tetas.
Yes. Common thread.
We have so many poems. Yeah, you do. Like you kind of see like your communal obsessions, you know, like the moon and the grandmother, which is like really beautiful. You feel like so seen in those moments. Yeah, I think one of the things that's really beautiful is that as you continue, as you've read many anthologies and know personally people, you start to see how you are in relationship to each other, how you are together building your own world of literary conversation, right? Like what you're coming up against, what you're building on, what you're like relating to. That's just for me, like the magic there, you know? Yeah. And I think it's also can be very, like a wonderful energy against the idea of like the lone brilliant poet and the talent.
Exactly.
Like that's not what we're here for, you know, like we're here to build community. I want to hear poems, not just like be the lone genius, you know, alone, yeah, with no friends.
asshole.
Yeah, we're here to be together, really, yeah.
That's beautifully put. I think there are certain preoccupations. I think even for editors of anthology, you'll see that there's a continuity of thought, like as Priscilla said, the tetas, the moons, etc. But we are, what I love about poetry is it's a solitary exercise in some ways, but it is a conversation with all of us. And in that, there's a community, in that there's this intimacy that we strike with each other. And so there's that beauty. But yeah, within, we have preoccupations, but yet, you know, we're in continuity. Also, not just in continuity with a particular like group of, but across time, across space, right? Yeah. And so that's my favorite part of it, thinking that I'm in continuous conversation with those who came before and after, and who will come
Several
after.
of your poems were referencing other poets, and you had brought in other poets' readings too.
So
I'll just be brief. I agree, especially with like, the sense of continuity, like, and especially now, just the idea that like, you knock one of us down or what have you, there's like a million more of us that come popping back up. Like we are eternal and infinite. So yeah, that's what I would have to say about that. Yeah.
Janine, this is for everybody, but it came up during your poem. I think it was asking how I'm doing during a genocide, where you talk a little bit about language and a sort of barrier, and asking yourself these questions, which is kind of framed as a conflict. I don't know if it is, but conflict of identity. And I was just wondering if you could kind of all talk about that feeling of being both Arab and American. If, how that conflict, if it is one, if you see it as one, comes up in your work.
It's funny, you were like discussing this a little bit earlier before this event. I suppose it's something like that's changed for me over time, and especially recently. I mean, I was telling someone recently, like when I was younger, even though I was not ashamed to be Palestinian, and I was always taught to be proud to be Palestinian, but it was always something that was like very separate from like my like say school life or my American life, and then there was like at home my Palestinian life, and it didn't like intersect a lot, and when it did, it felt weird. And even though I was, like you're taught to be proud, and of course, like I never really thought there was anything like not right about being Palestinian, but was the sense of like not secrecy, but I don't know, maybe some of you could relate of just like, that's our private life, and then it's not for like part of the outside world for whatever reason, like protection or just a vulnerability that we don't want to like present to the world. But over the years, and especially now, I mean, yes, I still feel conflicted, but for different reasons and in different ways. It's more like why is this country that I'm a part of, not by my own choice, but that I'm just as much a part of as anyone else is. So in conflict with like my place of origin, also something that is not my choice, and wrestling with like the fact that maybe I would rather not be in this place and be part of a society that is doing these things to the people where I come from and many other places in the world. So it's like more of like a moral conflict now, I guess. And yeah, I don't know if I have like a completely formed answer to the question, but that's kind of like where I'm at now is I don't as much feel like, oh, this makes me like American, not American, or like Palestinian, not Palestinian. Like to me, it's all meshed together now, but yeah, the conflict has taken on a different tone at this point. Yeah, so thank you.
I mean, I think there's definitely, being Palestinian in America, there's a deep moral injury that is, we cannot transcend. And there's also being Palestinian is also intergenerational. So perhaps what Janine was thinking was that, we're carrying this, it's a heaviness, and it's like what Darwish says, it's a hereditary illness that we love. It's a love. But it's still a hereditary illness, right? On some level with what's going on in the continuous Nakba that we're all experiencing. The only thing I would say is that it's hard to exist in a country where you are constantly being opposed in your thinking. It's just hard. I'm not saying that we do it every day. We teach our kids how to do it, but it is difficult. And sometimes it doesn't seem worth it. It's like, what's, and especially during the genocide, it's particularly pronounced. And so there is this feeling like, where do we go? Where do we belong? So that's a constant, it's a constant fraying of the psyche from this question. Yeah. But thank you for the question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yes. I guess what I would add is that in some ways, like America is a story certain people are telling that's just trying to keep all this stuff out of it, you know? And I mean, how many people really tell that story? And how many people don't, right? I mean, we're often in rooms where nobody believes in that particular story, right? And so there is a way that like America's trying to keep certain things outside of itself. But you know, we have more than 100 years of Arab American just literature. So like, it's not new. It's not, you know, exotic and fringe. It's like, you know, it's existed a very long time here. So, you know, I don't know. I guess there is a sense that America, like it is all of us here too, right? And so we have to be the story that we want it to be, right? We have to keep trying to change it because we also cannot remove our Americanness and our culpability as Americans either, right? So yes, I'm always in conflict with myself. I'm also responsible to act because I am an American. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I hope you're not done clapping because I'm going to ask you to do it once more. I'm really glad to have you all here, and thank you so much. I'm full of gratitude to all of you. And I'm really glad to have all of you here. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And thank you. This is the time to show up, and I'm really glad that you did. So thank you for doing that. I will let you know that we have copies of our anthology at the front register. You can find them there. And then, would you like to hang out here, or do you want to like socialize and like sign books? I should have asked you this before. Like this general, do I have the people come to you? So if you want to have your book signed, you can come up here. Books at the front. You can come up here. Thank you so much. If you have any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thank you.